Have you ever noticed how the Simpsons seem to have this eerie knack for predicting the future? From smartwatches to major world events, their track record is almost unbelievable. For decades, The Simpsons have been more than just a cartoon. They've been prophets of our time. From predicting Donald Trump's presidency to foreseeing technological marvels like smartwatches, their accuracy is almost supernatural. And the real question is, could they have done it again? Could this animated show hold the secrets to what lies ahead in 2025? Let me tell you, the predictions are not just fascinating, they're jaw-dropping, and some of them are downright terrifying. We're going to explore the predictions The Simpsons have made for 2025, and trust me, these are unlike anything you've seen before. Some will make you laugh, some will send shivers down your spine, and others will leave you stunned at how an animated sitcom could predict events so accurately. So stick with us, because what you're about to hear could be a glimpse into our not-so-distant future. Ready to get your mind blown? Let's get started. Past predictions that came true. Now, before we jump into the 2025 predictions, let's rewind for a moment and talk about some of the predictions The Simpsons have made in the past that actually came true. Think back to Donald Trump becoming president. The episode Bart to the Future, which aired way back in season 11, showed Trump as president, a full 16 years before it happened in real life. And who could forget the smartwatch prediction from Lisa's wedding in season 6? The writers didn't just make it up, they turned a crazy idea into something that eventually became a reality. These examples are just a few of the countless times The Simpsons have amazed us with their uncanny foresight. It's almost like the writers have a crystal ball or some secret insight into what's to come. And it doesn't stop at gadgets or presidential elections. They've also predicted technological advancements and cultural shifts. Take the example of the censorship of Michelangelo's David, which seemed so outlandish at the time but eventually became a real-world debate. The writers somehow knew how societal values and controversies would evolve. When you think about it, it's kind of chilling. So, what could possibly be next? Donald Trump back in power. Okay, so what's coming in 2025 according to The Simpsons? Well, here are some of the wildest and most talked about predictions. First up, Donald Trump could be back in power. Yes, you heard that right. In the episode titled Trumptastic Voyage, which aired in 2015, Homer is seen with a campaign sign for Trump 2024. Now fast forward to today, Trump has indeed announced his candidacy for 2024. The eerie part is, The Simpsons not only predicted his previous presidency, but also this potential comeback. And if history repeats itself, we might be in for another Trump era. Could this mean more chaos, or will it be a triumph? Only time will tell. But here's the interesting thing. The Simpsons often show Trump's presidency in a less than flattering light. They've depicted political turmoil, an economic downturn, and even scenes of civil unrest. It makes you wonder if these are simply exaggerated scenarios, or if the writers are reflecting a deeper truth about the potential consequences of his leadership. And when you think about the current political landscape, it's not hard to see why people are anxious about what could come next. If Trump returns to power in 2025, could we see more polarizing policies, more division, or perhaps even something unexpected and positive? It's a tough call, but The Simpsons seem to want us to brace ourselves for something big. Economic collapse prediction. And speaking of Trump, let's talk about the economic collapse prediction. Remember that same episode, Bart to the Future? In it, Lisa inherits a financial mess after Trump's presidency. Economists today are warning us about rising national debt, unstable markets, and a potential collapse. The idea of a financial crisis in 2025 seems less like fiction and more like a plausible reality. The question is, did The Simpsons foresee what's coming for our economy? Think about it. The world today is dealing with an economic climate that is teetering on the edge. Inflation is hitting record highs, national debts are piling up, and the cost of living has become a huge burden for many. The Simpsons painted a picture of a future where Lisa, as president, tries to fix the economy after the chaos of Trump's leadership, but struggles to cope with the damage left behind. It's eerily similar to what analysts are predicting for our near future. Are we really headed towards an economic disaster, just like in the show? Will we see rising unemployment, financial instability, or perhaps even widespread protests as people struggle to make ends meet? It's a prediction that feels all too real. US-China nuclear war. Another big prediction revolves around a nuclear war between the United States and China. There's an episode that depicts a massive conflict involving these two nations, and it hits a little too close to home given today's tensions. With trade disputes, political disagreements, and military buildups, this prediction feels alarmingly possible. Let's hope it never happens. But The Simpsons have made us all think twice about the direction of global politics. The current relationship between the United States and China is fraught with challenges. Trade wars, technological espionage, and territorial disputes have all contributed to an increasingly tense atmosphere. The idea of a nuclear confrontation might sound like the stuff of science fiction, but The Simpsons have shown time and again that what seems impossible can eventually become reality. Could 2025 be the year when these tensions reach a boiling point? It's a frightening thought, but one that reminds us of the importance of diplomacy and cooperation in a world that's becoming more divided. The show has always had a way of reflecting our fears back to us, and this particular prediction is no different. Environmental disaster. Now onto something just as concerning. An environmental disaster. If you've seen the Simpsons movie from 2007, you might remember Springfield being enclosed in a giant bubble due to an environmental catastrophe. It may have seemed funny at the time, but with increasing climate change and corporate pollution, a massive environmental disaster doesn't seem far-fetched for 2025. Companies cutting corners and polluting at alarming rates could lead us straight into this cartoon nightmare. Climate change is no joke. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and deforestation are all contributing to a worsening environmental crisis. In the Simpsons movie, Homer's reckless actions lead to a catastrophic situation for Springfield, forcing the town into isolation. This scenario might seem exaggerated, but it's actually a pretty clever metaphor for what we're facing as a planet. If we continue to ignore the signs and fail to take meaningful action, we could find ourselves in a similar situation, trapped in a crisis of our own making. The year 2025 might be a pivotal moment for our environment. Will we finally take the necessary steps to prevent disaster, or will we be forced to live with the consequences of our inaction? The Simpsons have given us a glimpse of what could happen, and it's up to us to decide if we want to change the outcome. Rise of AI and robots. What about the rise of AI and robots? There's an episode where Homer loses his job to robots, and it's a scenario that's becoming all too real. We've already seen massive layoffs because of automation, and as AI becomes smarter, more jobs are at risk. Imagine a world where robots do everything, and human workers are left struggling to find a place. Could this be our future in 2025? The Simpsons certainly seem to think so. AI is advancing at an astonishing rate. From self-driving cars to AI-generated art, machines are taking over tasks that were once the domain of humans. The fear of being replaced by a robot is no longer a distant possibility, it's happening right now. The Simpsons captured this anxiety perfectly, showing Homer being replaced by an efficient, tireless machine. As we move closer to 2025, the question becomes, how do we adapt to a world where machines are increasingly doing the work? Will we find new roles for humans, or will we see growing unemployment and inequality as people are left behind? It's a complex issue, and one that The Simpsons has highlighted in a way that's both humorous and unsettling. The future of work is changing, and we need to be ready for what comes next. Renewable energy sabotage. And speaking of technology, let's not forget about Lisa's solar-powered car in Paths to Glory. In that episode, her invention is sabotaged by corporate interests. Sound familiar? Renewable energy, like solar and wind, has faced similar obstacles in real life. Could 2025 be the year when we see more advancements in renewable energy being suppressed by powerful corporations? It's a worrying thought. The push for renewable energy has never been more urgent. Climate change demands that we move away from fossil fuels and embrace cleaner, more sustainable energy sources. Yet, time and again, we've seen efforts to advance green energy face resistance from powerful industries with a vested interest in maintaining the status quo. The Simpsons depicted this struggle in a way that resonates with what's happening today. Corporate greed standing in the way of progress. As we look ahead to 2025, we have to ask ourselves, will we allow these interests to continue holding us back? Or will we finally push through and make renewable energy a priority? The future of our planet depends on the choices we make, and The Simpsons have given us a glimpse of what could happen if we let greed win. Hologram technology. Now here's something pretty cool. Hologram technology. In one episode, Bart gets a hologram message. And believe it or not, we're getting closer to making that a reality. Just imagine by 2025, we could all be communicating through holograms, taking FaceTime and video calls to a whole new level. The technology is already being developed, and The Simpsons saw it coming years ago. Hologram technology has made significant strides in recent years. From concerts featuring holographic versions of late musicians to advancements in augmented reality, we're getting closer to a world where holographic communication is part of everyday life. Imagine being able to attend a meeting, visit a loved one, or even perform on stage without ever leaving your home, all through the power of holograms. The Simpsons predicted this shift long before it became a topic of serious development. As we move towards 2025, it's exciting to think about how this technology could change the way we connect with each other. Will we see holographic communication become as common as video calls are today? If The Simpsons are right, we're in for some incredible changes. The metaverse and digital reality. And let's talk about the metaverse. In Holidays of Future Past, Lisa logs into the Ultranet, which looks a lot like what we're calling the metaverse today. Companies like Meta are investing billions into creating interconnected virtual worlds. Could 2025 be the year where our lives move further into digital reality, just as The Simpsons predicted? The concept of the metaverse is no longer just a fantasy. It's becoming a reality, with tech giants pouring resources into building immersive virtual environments where people can work, play, and socialize. The idea of living part of our lives in a digital world is both thrilling and a little unsettling. The Simpsons foresaw a future where people would spend more time in these virtual spaces, and now we're seeing that vision come to life. As we head into 2025, the question is, how much of our lives will we choose to spend in the metaverse? Will it enhance our experiences, or will it lead us to disconnect from the real world? The Simpsons have given us a glimpse of both the possibilities and the pitfalls of this new digital frontier. Music and mind control. Another intriguing prediction is about music and mind control. There's an episode where music is used to control people's emotions. With the advancements in sound therapy and frequency-based treatments, this concept is no longer science fiction. Imagine being able to control your mood just by listening to a specific song. By 2025, music could be integrated into mental health treatment in a way that makes it a powerful emotional tool, just like in The Simpsons. Music has always had the power to move us, to make us feel emotions that words alone cannot convey. But what if we could harness that power to improve our mental health, to boost productivity, or even to heal? The Simpsons showed us a world where music could be used to influence people's moods, and now science is catching up. Researchers are exploring how different frequencies and sounds can affect the brain, helping to reduce anxiety, improve focus, and even alleviate symptoms of depression. By 2025, we could see music therapy become a mainstream treatment for mental health, using carefully crafted playlists to help people achieve a sense of balance and well-being. It's a fascinating concept and one that shows just how much potential there is in the connection between music and the mind. The donut-shaped universe. One of the more bizarre predictions involves the universe being shaped like a donut. Yes, you heard that right. Homer even talked about this with Stephen Hawking in one episode. Believe it or not, some cosmologists are actually considering the possibility of a donut-shaped universe. Who knew Homer could be onto something so profound? Maybe in 2025 we'll get some breakthroughs in cosmology that prove this theory isn't so outlandish after all. The idea of a donut-shaped universe might sound ridiculous, but it's actually a legitimate scientific hypothesis. Some cosmologists believe that the universe could be a torus, a shape that loops back on itself like a donut. This would mean that if you traveled far enough in one direction, you'd eventually end up back where you started. The Simpsons managed to slip this mind-bending concept into an episode in a way that was both humorous and thought-provoking. As we approach 2025, we may see new discoveries in cosmology that challenge our understanding of the universe and our place in it. Could Homer have been onto something all along? It's a reminder that sometimes the most outlandish ideas can turn out to be closer to the truth than we ever imagined. World War III prediction. Now let's switch gears and talk about something really scary. The idea of World War III. There's an old episode where Homer plays a prank about World War III breaking out. But with rising tensions between major global powers, this prediction feels chillingly relevant. With ongoing conflicts and shifting alliances, could 2025 see the beginning of something much bigger? We all hope not, but The Simpsons have certainly sparked the conversation. The prospect of a third world war is something that no one wants to think about, but it's a fear that has lingered in the background for decades. The Simpsons brought this fear to the forefront in a way that was both humorous and unsettling. Today we see nations arming themselves, alliances shifting, and conflicts simmering just below the surface. The idea of a global conflict breaking out feels all too possible, especially with the unpredictability of international politics. As we look ahead to 2025, we can only hope that diplomacy and cooperation will prevail over conflict. The Simpsons have given us a warning, and it's up to us to heed it. The final showdown between good and evil. And finally, there's the prediction of a final showdown between good and evil. Episodes hint at an ultimate battle, almost like the biblical Armageddon. Whether it's about global conflicts, pandemics, or even a spiritual awakening, The Simpsons hint that 2025 could be a year of major upheaval, where humanity faces its toughest challenges yet. The idea of a final showdown between good and evil is one that has been part of human storytelling for centuries. The Simpsons have hinted at this concept in various episodes, often in a lighthearted way, but with an underlying sense of seriousness. As we face challenges like climate change, political division, and the ongoing effects of the pandemic, it's easy to see why people might feel like we're heading towards some kind of ultimate confrontation. Could 2025 be the year when we finally face these challenges head-on and decide what kind of future we want for ourselves and for future generations? The Simpsons seem to think so, and their vision of a battle between good and evil is a powerful reminder that the choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. So, are these just coincidences, or does The Simpsons know more than we think? The uncanny accuracy of their predictions is enough to make anyone wonder. What do you think about these predictions for 2025? Could we really be heading towards an insane future just like The Simpsons warned us? If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more shocking predictions and analysis. Drop a like if you enjoyed it and share it to keep the conversation going. Let's see what the future really holds.